What kind of country is Egypt? The Arab Republic of Egypt, commonly known as Egypt, spans two continents, Asia and Africa, with the majority in the northeastern part of Africa. It borders Libya to the west, Sudan to the south, the Red Sea to the east, and shares borders with Palestine and Israel, with the Mediterranean Sea to the north. Arabic is the language, and the capital is Cairo. However, such a historically rich and culturally vibrant country also faces many real challenges. Issues like domestic overpopulation and severe water shortages are becoming increasingly prominent, coupled with economic difficulties such as inflation, foreign exchange shortages, and debt crises, making Egypt's path to development fraught with challenges and tests. Egypt's land area is approximately 1,145 square kilometers, ranking 30th in the world by area, about 1/10 the size of China. 95% of the land is desert, with habitable land area only about 40,000 to 50,000 square kilometers, and the population is heavily concentrated along the Nile River and in the delta regions. Due to scarce land, Egypt's housing problem is becoming increasingly severe. Many Egyptians are forced to find living space on limited land, with some even building homes on ancient Egyptian noble tombs, creating the so-called City of the Dead. Egypt is a traditional agricultural country and a net importer of agricultural products. The added value of agriculture, forestry, and fisheries accounts for about 10.8% of the GDP. As of the year 2024, Egypt's population is approximately 116 million people, making it the second most populous country in Africa, just after Nigeria. Egypt's continuously growing population is leading to an increasing demand for food. However, Egypt's arable land is limited, and the entire region is dry with little rainfall. The average annual rainfall is only between 50 and 200 millimeters, mostly concentrated in winter, making it one of the most water-scarce countries in the world. The Nile River is the main water source for Egypt's agriculture, but the distribution of water resources is uneven and increasingly scarce. This puts enormous pressure on Egypt to ensure food supply, leading to a high dependency on food imports. Cotton is an important export agricultural product, with extra long staple cotton and long staple cotton making up the majority of the total cotton production, generating significant foreign exchange income for Egypt. As of the year 2023, Egypt's gross domestic product was approximately $4,040 billion, with a per capita GDP of about $3,735. The service sector holds a significant place in Egypt's economy, accounting for over 50% of Egypt's GDP. This includes various areas such as finance, education, healthcare, and transportation, becoming a crucial driving force for Egypt's economic growth. Tourism is an important part of Egypt's service industry and a significant source of foreign exchange income. It contributes about 12% to the GDP and provides employment opportunities for approximately 3 million people. Egypt's tourism industry is experiencing a full recovery. In the first 7 months of 2024, more than 8 million international tourists visited Egypt, with the number of tourists from China growing by 60%. Egyptian tourism agencies predict that by the end of 2024, more than 15 million tourists are expected to visit Egypt, with tourism revenue anticipated to exceed $140 billion, setting a new record for Egypt's tourism industry. Industry accounts for a relatively low proportion in the GDP, making up only about 16%. The industrial sector includes oil and natural gas extraction, textiles, food processing, and machinery manufacturing, among others. Egypt has the largest cotton and textile industrial cluster in Africa, with the added value of the textile industry accounting for about 3% of the GDP. In addition, Egypt is the largest producer and consumer of steel in Africa. However, its industrial base is relatively weak, lacking high-end manufacturing and advanced technology, which affects Egypt's overall economic competitiveness. Egypt has abundant mineral resources, with proven oil reserves of about 31 billion barrels, ranking 6th in Africa. Natural gas-proven reserves reach approximately 2,100 billion cubic meters, ranking 3rd in Africa. Compared to the oil and gas giants in the Middle East, such as Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, Egypt's resources are relatively smaller, but still provide significant foreign exchange and fiscal revenue for the country. In addition, Egypt possesses abundant iron ore resources, with reserves totaling several million to 100 million tons, and identified phosphate reserves of approximately 7 billion tons. However, excessive reliance on energy exports makes Egypt's economy vulnerable to fluctuations in international energy market prices. The Suez Canal is located on the western side of Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, connecting the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. The canal is approximately 190 to 195 kilometers long and is an important waterway linking the continents of Asia, Africa, and Europe. The tolls from the Suez Canal are one of the main sources of revenue for Egypt's national budget and foreign exchange reserves. Passing ships pay tolls based on tonnage and must also pay for water supply and navigational markers. For many years, canal revenue, along with remittances, tourism, and oil, has been one of the 4 main pillars of Egypt's foreign exchange income. However, since a new round of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict broke out in October last year, the ongoing tensions in the Red Sea area have forced commercial ships to change their routes, leading to a significant decline in Suez Canal shipping revenue. During the fiscal year 2023 to 2024, the Suez Canal revenue totaled $72 billion, experiencing a year-on-year decrease of approximately 23.4%. Since January of this year, revenue has declined by a significant 60% year-on-year, with the number of transiting ships decreasing by 49%. During its development, the Egyptian economy faces numerous challenges, including a singular economic structure, unstable regional conditions, and changes in the global economic landscape. In addition, high inflation, the wealth gap, and high unemployment are significant obstacles to Egypt's economic development.